guys, and welcome to another episode of One Pod Life. Now, golf can be a pretty lonely place sometimes, but as long as you've got a good little team around you, it's not so bad. This week's guests have built a platform not only to help golfers develop and improve, but also build a community where they can actually engage with other golfers, instructors, health fitness guys and everything else, all in one place. The app is really built towards helping golfers achieve career longevity, so helping them with the financial side of things, the mindset side of things, and also the physical part of the game as well to achieve that career longevity. I speak to the founders, Jamie and Hallam, about their journey so far, and in their own words, what Enahgy Golf is. So, evening lads, welcome to the One Pod Life podcast. Thanks for coming on.
No, thank you for inviting us.
You're welcome. I think your platform is quite an interesting one. For those who don't know, these guys are Enahgy Golf, Hallam and Jamie. And in their own words, I'll let them explain to you exactly what Enahgy Golf is.
Hallam, do you want to go ahead? Because I don't want to take up all your time.
No problem at all. So what we've basically created is a development platform for golfers. So in a nutshell, without us going into too much detail, we've essentially created something that we say is your tour team in your pocket. So we're supporting golfers financially, mentally, and also physically, and also socially as well, which is a key one. So when we both came together, we looked at some of the stats, we looked at the research, and the average age to transition from amateur to professional is 20 years of age. The average age to get a tour card is 28, and the average age on tour is 33. So we're always saying to our golfers and the people we're speaking to, what are you doing for the next 8 to 13 years to keep yourself in the game of golf? And we looked at maybe like the reasons why people drop out the game, and there were probably 4 key reasons, which is the ones we cover. The financial side, which is an obvious one, the mental side, the physical, and also the social side. So the social side is an interesting one, and it's something that, well, Jamie shared it with me a little while ago, but a study that Ian Peake did, and if anyone listening knows of Ian Peake, you may have heard of the study. I'll probably butcher it a little bit. It's my own little version of it. He looked at ex-World Cup players and looked at why some made it onto tour and why some fell out the game. And he looked at all these different key reasons, and what he came down to wasn't the financial, wasn't necessarily the mental, and it wasn't necessarily the physical. They all had an impact, but the biggest impact was the social death, he called it. Right. So what we wanted to create was this community for players to be able to come in, share their lessons, share all their information with one another, and really allow each other to grow together. So that's why you'll see us all the time saying, together everyone achieves more. And it might sound cliche, but it genuinely is true. And they're the 4 key things that we focus on inside the app in terms of and also social support to keep golfers in the game for longer. Because when we look at that number and we say the average age to transition is 20, average age on tour is 33, there's a 13-year gap there. And it's the same when you go into the corporate world. You don't expect to become an intern at the age of 20 and then be the managing director at 24, 25 within 2 years. And it's the same in the game of golf. So many players come into the game, they turn professional, and then within 2 or 3 years, if they're not on tour or they're not massively successful, they start looking elsewhere and saying, well, maybe I need to get an office job. Maybe I need to get a proper job as such. And we want to make sure that that's not necessarily the situation for golfers, and that they're giving themselves the time to acquire the skills, develop the confidence, learn the lessons, have the failures, so they can get to the point where they are a good enough version to play on tour, to play on the European Tour, PGA Tour, wherever they want to go. So that's what we've created inside the app, and I can go into a lot more detail of what we have inside the app. But again, as Jamie said, we could be here all night. So
we could.
If you have questions, we'll dive into that.
No, I think that's a great introduction as well into what Enahgy Golf is. And I started talking to you guys a good 2-3 weeks ago. Little did I know, I've been talking to Jamie for the past 2 years, even though he was, which is quite interesting. I downloaded the app and I had a little flick through. Obviously, it's geared more towards the professional golfer in my eyes than me as an amateur golfer, even though you've given me a platform on there where I can actually put in my details and say that I'm actually an amateur golfer, which I quite liked. I've been using it. I've been using it for the past 2-3 weeks. I like the fact that every morning I wake up, I've got a little notification that tells me a motivational video to watch or something. And that for me is powerful straight away. So let alone what it's going to do for a professional golfer.
100%, and that's obviously just one component is the mindset part. So the improve your mindset part, and within that section, go on.
Sorry, go on. No, go on, H. Go on.
Within that section, obviously we've got so many different tools and features that players can benefit from. One of them being that daily development. So that's purely off the back of what I've done in the past, and that really is just take information on board and then apply it to my life, and just see what works for me and what doesn't. So we have that section. We have the accountability platform as well in there, which is in terms of setting long-term goals for the players and then allowing them or helping them, giving them a platform to be able to break that down all the way down into the daily. What do they need to do today or even in the next hour in order to move towards their goals? And then we've got tons of stuff in there. But, I'll let Jamie jump in.
No. I just wanted to jump on that point where you said about, you feel like it's more for the professional golfers. But Lloyd, where we come from, or where I come from in particular, was like, coming from a finance background, a corporate world, and then funding sort of elite level golfers that weren't professionals. I always give the analogy of football, and I come from a bit of a football background. It doesn't matter what level of football you play, whether it's non-league, Sunday morning, second division, all the way up to the Premiership. Everyone has that element of a team around them. So whether that's a coach, a chairman, always sending these players into the right direction. Now, yes, it's great for professionals, but elite amateurs as well, they can take so much away from this, because we're not trying to make golfers actually better golfers. Our industry leading guys that come in and help that do that for the golfers. But what we believe in is if you can improve as an individual and learn from the industry leading people that we have inside the app, then we know that's ultimately going to make you a better golfer in the end. And we want to almost be that guidance, because it's so I've been very fortunate in the last few years to be inside the ropes at major events, and be around some unbelievably talented players. 60% of the Challenge Tour players don't have a team around them. There's players on the European Tour that don't have a team around them. Now, don't get me wrong, they obviously know and they can learn from their peers, past players that they can lean on, or if they have had management companies in the past that they can ask their questions from. But ultimately, there's a lot of players out there that are in the professional industry in golf and don't have a sense of direction. No. And that's just fascinating for me, coming from an outside perspective, building that team around them and giving these, it doesn't matter if it's elite amateur and non-golfer, you don't even have to be a golfer necessarily to be in here and learn and develop as an individual, because there's enough stuff in here to actually, learn from them from a golfer's point of view. But it's more as well the fact that as an individual, how many golfers transition from amateur to professional, not even been into the corporate world, don't even understand the working mentality other than hating to sell Mars bars at their local pro shop. But where do they go from there? Who's guiding them? Unless you're fortunate enough to be at a golf club that has got a load of tour pros practice in there, ex-players that they can lean on. Lloyd, I don't know what your background is yourself personally, but I said I come from a finance background, being a money broker. I'm sitting there in front of a million load of numbers and screens. And if there's no one actually telling me what to do with them numbers, how am I going to learn and progress?
You're totally right.
And that's the amazing thing for me that's not in golf. And that's where we see an opportunity. It's almost to give, if you're fortunate enough to play for the union, even your local county union, you have a sense of environment, people around you that, again, giving you that opportunity to get to that next step. But there's a lot of players that don't get to play for the national team. They don't have the best coaches around them. So players, or even if they do, and they don't quite make it to sort of the elite amateur sort of stage, the Walker Cup, they almost transition it. I think, I've not made the Walker Cup, I'll turn pro now. But then what do they do? And it's they've got to go and work it all out themselves. So that's where we hope the Enahgy is and me and Hallam always give, tell the players, there is no ego attached to what we're doing with Enahgy. We ultimately want to make it for the players. If there's something in there that a golfer can't get access to or don't have the money to be able to do, we'll go out and get it for you. We want to bring that value and support to you. And, and it's been, ultimately 4 years. I come out of a job and I've done nothing but eat, sleep, breathe and drink this game. For no value of myself other than to try and help people. I've not taken anything from that. Hallam's come straight from university, and that's why I think there's a great balance between us. And it was just a total natural synergy for us to come together and implement everything that's in there. It's not perfect, but we're at that stage. And as I said, the more feedback that we can get from amateur golfers, professional golfers. I say because we've got people inside the app from European Tour down to them elite amateurs and also them Category 1 golfers. And it's actually the Category 1 golfers that actually ask all the questions, give us the information that the European Tour players go, oh, actually, I could do with that.
Yeah.
You know, and that has happened for us. And I don't want to drop names or anything like that, but, you know, when we wouldn't be, you know, sitting here and saying it if it wasn't true. No. But Hallam can back me up there.
Well, yeah. Again, me and Hallam talked about earlier. Like, as an amateur golfer, I ask a lot of questions, and even looking at the podcast, obviously, I started doing. The reason I did it because I wanted to find out information from professional golfers of how to get to that level. So, yeah, you're talking all the same sort of things really within the app. It is there to learn, and you could be any level of golfer. And yeah, but like I said, when I first downloaded the app, I wasn't sure if this was right for an amateur because I was thinking, well, this looks like it's for an elite golfer, which I'm unfortunately not yet. But one day I'll get there.
We can help with that.
That's what I like to do.
We can help you, mate. We can help you at least make you a better person that will ultimately give you some guidance that will make you a better golfer. So directly, indirectly, we're definitely helping, I believe. And that's purely on the back of the feedback that we're getting. So. But yeah, but no, cool. No, I think, and I don't want to be controversial here. And again, this is just my beliefs that I share with Hallam, is that I almost feel that it is an educational platform than it is anything else. Mm-hmm. And when I say educational platform, again, I believe an archaic mindset of a golfer is turn professional, be expected to be given X amount of money to go and almost live out their dream. There is no other industry in the world where that happens. No. You know, and we believe that to get value, you've got to provide value. You know, that's a sense of where we are with the app, and it's almost an education process. And if we can make a golfer self-sustainable, he don't have to worry about getting with a management company. He don't have to worry about sort of like, you know, whoa, where's my next bit of money coming from? Where's my next event coming from? Oh, I need challenge tour stars. Oh, I don't get the help that guy gets. Yeah, you know, it's all excuses. You know, and it's not, there's no, like, if I was to go into my industry, you know, and say, oh, I don't have the technology to be the broker that guy's, what are you on about? It's like, you know, here's your tools, here's how to use your tools. Now go and make it work, and don't be like, you know, reliant on, oh, I didn't get that opportunity. He got that opportunity. He's got that money. He can do that. You know, because ultimately, I always say that, you know, if we all went to school together, you know, we'd have the same teacher. Ultimately, yes, we would come out with different results, but because we adapt or put our sort of focus into certain areas. But golf is a little bit different. Different golf clubs, you know, people have got more money than others, can go and see better coaches. You know, I always, and I want to be careful of what I say here because this is obviously going out. But my experiences with certain golfers, they have a sense of self-entitlement into them because they've gone out and found a way of doing what they've had to do. Yep. Now, that doesn't mean just because a golfer's got just as much ability, he doesn't have that way of going to find the ways. If he could be guided and shown that, look, you can go and ask this person, learn from that person, you can ultimately encourage someone. That's where the sense of the community comes from, that ultimately we can all learn and help each other, encourage from our failures and from our successes. So that's where the sense of the together everyone achieves more, that community. But golf is such in my opinion, an insular sort of, no, this is I've gone and paid for this knowledge. Yeah. I'm keeping it all for myself, because he doesn't have all the knowledge, that particular person. And if he was to share it with someone, if he could identify, well, that guy's a great bunker player. He goes and sees this particular coach. I'm a great putter. We can be a bit like, you know, give to receive kind of thing, if that makes sense. And that's what we try to
On that, with and I'll just give an example in a totally different industry, and this is what we're trying to bring to the golf industry, is that knowledge share. And when you look at, and I'll pick one of the biggest booming places in the world, Silicon Valley, obviously in the tech world. The reason, and one of the reasons Silicon Valley became so successful and so many different clusters of huge companies was that knowledge spillover. One guy would go for a beer with another guy at a different company. They'd have a bit too much of a conversation, share too much information. They'd go away, implement it into their own companies, and they would grow together. And that's essentially what we're trying to almost implement into the golf industry, because we know that every single person that's trying to make it, if they're on mini tours, if they're trying to make it onto the European tour or trying to be successful in golf, they've learned lessons people won't have. Or even they've learned lessons that others have as well, and they can share that experience with each other. But we just want to create that situation, that community where players are just engaging with one another, sharing experiences, sharing lessons, sharing failures, so they can all grow together. Because that knowledge share, that knowledge spillover is what creates that opportunity. And that's why we sort of boil it all down to, and we keep saying it, but together everyone does achieve more. And golf is such a singular sport, but it doesn't have to be. It can be a sport where everyone's engaging with one another, sharing that stuff, so they can all grow together. So that's what
and I think you always get as well. Again, I can only speak from my experiences. It's not just pie out of the sky for me, but I see so many golfers that are unbelievable talent that are bitter towards other golfers that they feel they're better than that, but have better funding, have better ways and means of doing things. But rather than being bitter towards them and sort of almost like, I don't know what the better word is, bitter, let's just use bitter. God, I'm speaking to that guy. How are you doing that? How are you funding that? You know, what flights do you go on? What events do you choose to play in? Just speak with each other, because there's, especially at the mini tour level, you know, and again, I'm sort of using, again, my experiences, but being fortunate to be inside the ropes at major tournaments, you know, and then seeing major winners, like, you know, inside the ropes, I look at them and think, well, that swing's not great. That doesn't look good. That doesn't sound right. That ain't far, or that ain't the best chip shot. That's not the best part. What? So then you realise it's actually not about the golf swing. There's obviously more to this, and we know that between the two ears, there's a hell of a lot that goes on. So there's more to this, you know. And I've seen players that are falling out of the game that are like the most impressive golfers that I've seen from being inside the ropes or whatever. But what is it that he's suffering with? You know, is it a sense of like, you know, self-entitlement? Is it a sense of like underachieving? Is it like a bit of a fixed mindset? Is it like, I don't know, there's so many more things to it. And again, without trying to sort of dip our toes into everything, we've just broke it down to them three components: physical, financial, mental, and try and support us, you know, as best we can.
Oh, well, let's dive into those three categories then, because let's lead quite nicely into that. So, yeah, you guys, like you said, the main three things, you call it career longevity within things I've read. And, yeah, so you're talking about being how you can help golfers be financial longevity, mental longevity, and then physical longevity. So if you broke it down into each one of those, could you just give us a quick or a brief?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the financial side of things. And again, I'll go back to archaic mindset. A golfer turns professional and expects to be given some sort of funding. And normally, for the first year, 2 years, there will be some goodwill gestures from their local pros, mums and dads, that will fund it. But as we established that it takes 8 years to even get a tour card, the average age 13 years to get on, like, you know, or average age on tour, what are you actually doing? Because goodwill gestures is not sustainable. So you'll get players that their mum and dads or their sponsors that pulled out after the 2 years because they give 20, 40 grand away. And it's like, okay, well, now I've got off and get a proper job. Well, no, like, so what we do is no rocket science behind what we're doing. Again, it's proof of concept. I've got I've got a network of people that are willing to give money to golfers, but I'm always like, what are you doing to add value? People are giving away 20 grand. What's their return of interest? What can you do to provide value to them? So our financial partners all provide a value to a golfer that is enabling them to sort of, like, let's say from the start of the season, right, let's run a golf day at your golf club for your friends, family, members of that golf club. That's going to generate X amount of money. We know if you're playing Euro Pro or whatever tour, there's going to be a gap in the season. There's an opportunity to then run another golf day, which is a money for you. And then with that little network of people, there is services that you can give to them golfers that's of benefit, whether that's our, you know, Wow Hydrate products, whether that's health and life insurance with our exclusive partnership to Will You Life and who have a direct relationship with Vitality, whether it's our brand like associates and partners that can, you know, give sort of benefits to the golfer, or even if it's for your golf travel, you know, where every golfer knows someone that goes on a golf trip. Well, if you'll be able to introduce that business for them, ultimately you can create a sustainable living for you to play your tour year on year, because everything's a repeatable process. Now, Lloyd, this is where I'm really, really sort of it really concerns me, because I don't want people, and we've had it, golfers think I'm trying to turn them into salesmen.
Yeah.
And I can assure you that it doesn't matter what you do in life, you've got to be able to sell yourself.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But most importantly, you've got to be able to add value to be able to receive that value. And every golfer that has, taken on what we've ultimately asked them to do will tell you that it's not impacted their golf in one way, shape or form, because ultimately they're now, with the money they're earning, is enabling them to take on better coaches or additional coaches.
Yep.
But the main thing is they understand business. It's almost like they've earned that money. They know how hard it is to earn it. They then be thing with where they sort of spend the money. Because again, golfers get money given to them and then don't even have an idea how to spend it. No. Someone to give them £20,000 as a goodwill gesture, the first thing they do is go and buy a load of new clothes, put a logo on it.
Yep.
Who cares? And then they've got run out of money. So again, it's an education process. And it's like, someone's given me that money. I'm going to go and play this tournament, that tournament. Again, no structure, miss the cut. And then they think, bloody hell, I've just done £4,000 there now. Yeah. And they're going into events thinking, well, I've not earned it. I'm now letting that guy down. Where's the money? Whereas if you understand the value of earning the money, being sustainable, then you'll understand then what the better, the development that comes on the back of that. And I think that's why we get a lot of PGA pros that really engage with what we're doing, because they understand that business side of it. And I don't mean this disrespectfully to touring pros, because there's a lot of them with bloody unbelievable ability.
Yep.
But it's almost that sense of, I don't need that, I've got my sponsor. Well, they're the ones that are come knocking in 2 years' time because their management come and left them. And we'll be there for them. That's not a problem. As I said, the main thing for me is that there's no rocket science behind what we're doing. We're not trying to turn you into salesmen, because that's why we cover other aspects. It's just there if you want access to it. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense to me.
The key there as well is going back to what we first mentioned right at the start of the call. And it's saying basically that the average age to transition from amateur to pro is 20. Average age to get a tour card is 28. So as I say, we always say, what are you doing for the next 8 years to keep yourself in the game? And sponsorship is great as potentially a goodwill gesture, but is it sustainable? Are you going to get that sponsorship year after year after year? And as we always say, for any relationship to work, it has to be mutually beneficial. If you're going to keep it going for 8 years, there has to be value on both sides. There has to be value to the person giving it and the value to the person getting it. And sponsorship just doesn't give us that answer. And that's why we're trying to change things and educate the golfers on to get value, and to get sustainable value, you've got to give sustainable value as well. And that's how we're doing it through our financial partners.
And Lloyd, it comes back to, again, education.
Yep.
It doesn't. These golfers are not getting that education. As I said, the amount of people I've been around and said, I can't now, I'm still living at home with my parents are giving me the money. People are giving it to them. They want them to succeed, yet they use that as an opportunity to say, that's why I'm failing.
Yeah.
Because it's just being handed to them on a plate. But I can go on forever and ever, and we won't get onto the other components.
No, right. Well, let's move on to the mental side of things then.
Yeah, so on the mental side, that's my component really. So to give a little bit of my background, during my final year of university, I basically just went full on in terms of my own personal development, listening to podcasts, reading books, watching videos, everything I could get my hands on to just start to develop my mindset and to start growing my knowledge in that area. And I fully got immersed inside of it, and I absolutely loved it. And that basically turned out in me, first of all, helping my brother out on the mental side. He's a professional golfer, plays a lot of the PGA regional stuff, a lot of the mini tours. And first of all, started helping him out. And not rocket science stuff, very basics. Just looking at accountability. What are you doing? Setting that long-term goal, breaking it down into the yearly, monthly, weekly, daily tasks that you need to execute to move towards it. And then that sort of started to snowball a little bit. Started to pick up a few guys that Zach was playing with, and a few guys especially from the Zane Scotland Academy. Yep. And then just snowballed outside of that through word of mouth and other sort of methods of marketing. And actually got sort of big imposter syndrome, ending up at Port Rush last year with one of our players, Garrett Porteous, which was an incredible experience. And I was sort of like, what am I doing here? I've just come out of uni, haven't got any experience in necessarily mindset. And I always was fully sort of aware of that and never tried to hide the fact that I didn't have that qualification or experience. But it was purely based on my own learnings and just throwing myself into that world. And then it just continued to develop from there. Jamie and I came together, and we basically said, Jamie had the financial side, I obviously had sort of some background in the mental side. I was working with players from European tour level down to obviously mini tour level. And we just believed there was something bigger we could do there. So my overall mentality with the whole mindset side and improving golfers' mindsets is, first of all, it starts away from the golf course. If I can make you a better version of yourself away from the golf course, if I can make you a genuinely better human being, then I know that will always flow over onto the golf course. And I know you may have heard the whole sort of like situational or quote where it says that money's neither good nor bad. It's just a magnifier of who you really are. Yep. So if you have a load of money and you're a bad person, you're just going to be even worse, the same way on the good side. And I genuinely believe that the golf course is the same sort of magnifier for an individual. So if you're struggling away from the golf course, chances are the golf course is going to magnify that, and it's going to show up even stronger on the golf course. If you're in a great place away from the golf course, again, it will magnify on the golf course and you'll be able to step up when it matters most. So that's definitely always my mentality on that side. And that's why I post in those daily development. They might not be athlete related, they might not be sports related, but I think it's so fundamental to get those daily routines, habits in place to ensure that you're progressing as an individual, not just a golfer. So that's why we have those different tools and features in there. We have in there, just to explain to everyone, we have an accountability platform, as I mentioned before. So that really helps you set those long-term goals, break it down into monthly, weekly, daily, all the way down into hourly tasks, so you can take those small steps towards your long-term goals. We have online courses in there as well. So we've got 3 online courses at the moment and looking to expand that in the near future. So we have mental toughness, we have self-esteem, and we have emotional control. And again, some of that is relevant to on-course stuff, but predominantly it's off-course. What are you doing in your morning routines to work towards those skills? What are you doing in your daily habits? What are you doing in your evening routine? Actually away from the golf course to bring those skills to fruition. Because again, I mean, those skills are key when you step onto the golf course, but they're not going to show up on the golf course unless you have them solidified off the golf course. Yeah. So that's sort of like the mindset side. Then obviously we have tons of different partners that come in and provide exclusive content inside the app for the guys as well. Ian Highfield from Game Like Training, Phil Shomo, mental skills coach based in South Carolina, and a variety of others, Jude O'Reilly, a caddy who's been on tour for 25 plus years. So we've got all these experts coming in and providing exclusive content as well.
Yeah, and just on that, Lloyd, you know, on that page, because I think it's so important for anyone that's listening to this, is to have the likes of Cole Morris and, you know, Zen Golf and all these guys coming in on the mental side of the game, which I think, as we said earlier, I think that's a huge part of the game.
No, definitely.
To have them guys on weekly for an hour on a live Q&A, you know, what can you not learn from them guys, or have the opportunity to be able to speak to them guys and have a question? Because, you know,
John Rahm, sports psychologist.
His players last year won something like $19 million between them. Okay, John Rahm's probably, you know, made most of that money. But to have him, how much is he going to cost you for an hour session? You know, but bearing in mind, he's over in America, so you've got to go over there and see it. So to come into the platform and be able to speak and ask them questions, or ultimately just to sit on the panel and be able to listen to what of the questions people may ask, even if you don't want to be the person that does ask them, mate, what an opportunity. And again, there's no ego for that. If it's not the right thing and what people want, tell us, and we'll go and find it and get it for you.
Yeah. No, that's one thing I was actually really impressed with. When I first downloaded the app and got on there, I started seeing like these weekly 1 hour Q&As, all these people and all these names popping up. Like was it Phil Shomo last week? And you said you got Brett McCabe. Well, I actually listened to on another podcast a few weeks ago, and I was like, I really like this guy, and I really like his sort of concept. And then, the Ian Highfield one this week, which I need to watch later on tonight. But I think to get like you said, how often would you be able to get access to these people and just ask a question, or even just listen to what they've got to say?
Absolutely, and I just think that for me is the real opportunity. That's the real value, in my opinion. As I said, like, we can be financial, mental, but even if you don't want to listen to us, listen to these people that are huge in the game.
Oh, no, definitely.
You know, again, a bit of imposter syndrome for me, and I'm dropping a bit of a bomb here, but Sean Fitzpatrick, you know, the guy's a legend of an All Black, you know, won enormous World Cups, and, you know, and listening to sort of the mentality of what the All Blacks go through. And, you know, and I've had imposter syndrome this morning. I'm around his house for a cup of coffee this morning, you know, and be able to share that information and listen. it's like, wow, this opportunity for people should be like, right, yeah, this podcast is great, right, Lloyd? But how good would it be if we had so other many people on here to ask questions and really grow, what we're doing? And it's, as you can imagine, one of my old cliches, it's good to talk.
Yeah, Hallam, cut him off quick. Let's start talking about physical.
Yeah.
You're in control of the mute button, not me, Lloyd.
I didn't realise I could do that. Right, that's it.
Yeah.
Right, no. Okay, cool. So we've covered financial, we've covered mental. Let's start talking about the physical side of things as well. So
the physical side, again, we've partnered with some unbelievable experts on the physical side to cover all aspects. So you're looking at the likes of Will Wayland, who works for the European Tour Performance Institute as an S&C coach. Yep. He's doing some incredible work at the moment in terms of especially creating real athletes in the game. Obviously, the big move with the Bryson effect and all sorts going on there.
Yep.
A lot of questions, a lot of talk. But Will Wayland's doing some incredible work with players from mini tour level up to European tour level, and seeing some incredible numbers on the speed numbers in terms of like 130 plus clubhead speed standard for his golfers. So some incredible work there that we have Will Wayland coming in, providing exclusive content to the app. He provides various training concepts. He's come on, he's done 2 live Q&As. He posts inside the newsfeed on a regular basis. Yep. So really starting to get an insight into Will Wayland's work and how you can increase your clubhead speed to move with the times of the game. But also what Will Wayland provides inside the app for all Enahgy members is 20% off all of his online courses, all of his online programs, and also his recent release, the Big Hitters Manual that he did with an S&C coach for the Houston Astros, the baseball team as well. So they combined on that, and that's an incredible piece of work that I've been through recently. So Will Wayland's one of them. We also have nutrition, a guy called Phil Holmes. Mm-hmm. So again, covering that aspect, which we know is so important. And I think it's more and more players are opening their eyes to the importance of nutrition and its impact on their energy levels in the game. So again, Phil providing that exclusive content inside the app for the guys, coming on doing live Q&As. And they're all just they're aligned with our mission and our belief in terms of giving access to as much information as possible for all these players and giving them as best opportunities as possible to reach their goals. So all of them are there to answer the phone, to reply to messages, to reply to questions at any point inside the app. And really making it feel like you've got this team and this community around you.
And I think that's the good part about it as well. It's the openness of the app as well. You can literally post anything you want, and you will find people replying to you, giving you advice. And like you said, just to message those nutritionists inside the app is unreal. And like I said, that values for everybody then, because then they all see what his answer is. And somebody might be having that question, but not actually have the confidence to ask it. So.
Yeah, so you got other keys like the Alex Raheem's in there doing again, applying sort of his skill set, which is strength and conditioning, and also like the physio rehab sort of rehabilitation side. We've got sleep coaches in there that have worked with breathing coaches. There's every aspect that you can imagine the top 5 players in the world have, and they've worked with. You know, and again, we're giving this to everyone. And don't get me wrong, like, again, I don't want people to sort of, feel like all we're doing is bringing them into the app and then like, here's an opportunity and we're sell services to all these people. We're not doing that because these guys understand that they're not there to sort of try and cross-sell or sell other services. But it's there if you want them. But what you've got is access to a whole group of people here that you can use, learn from over the time that you don't have to pay for. So just use it to your advantage. And I said, if we haven't got it, and I keep reiterating this, we'll go and find it. As I said, it's not, we're not experts in golf. But we're just looking at it from an outside perspective and just trying to overturn every bloody stone and possibility. So there's no excuses for any golfer to say, oh, he's got that swing coach, or he has a nutritionist, or he has a strength and conditioning coach. I can't afford all that. No. Well, actually, it's here all for you. What are you going to do with it? Because now they've got no excuses. They can't hide. They can't run away because there it is. And if we haven't got it, don't say it doesn't work for me. Well, what is it that don't work for you? Because if none of that can not work for you as a professional golfer, then, good luck on your journey.
No, it's such a good point. And on the sleep, and Jamie mentioned, we've also got obviously the sleep coach in there. We have breathing expert in there as well. the sleep coach, and anyone listening should look him up. He's done some unbelievable work. A guy called Nick Littlehales. So he's actually worked with, and if you Google his name, it'll come up straight away with probably Ronaldo's article saying the man who taught Ronaldo how to sleep. So he's incredible work with Ronaldo. He's worked with the British cycling team as well, and been massively successful in some pretty out the box strategies that actually came off and were very, 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 very successful. And then in terms of the breathing expert, a guy called Patrick McKeown, and his work is incredible. And 100%, again, if you haven't seen any of his work, I would dive into it and research it, because it really can revolutionise not only your game, but as we always say, your life as well. So,
and I think the important thing for me as well there, just touching on that, all these bits are like what people say the 1% or the 0.5% that can all together combined marginal gains. It's that additional bit of help. It ain't about the swing sometimes. You can have the best swing in the world, but you turn up one week, it's like.
Well, I was actually just.
You got to swing like me.
Or me. I was just about to say as well. Well, I was about to say the golf really is sort of like, I don't know, let's say 10% of what it is you guys are offering people, because all the other 90% of what you need to be a golfer is all the bits you're providing, which then make you a better person, golfer, or whatever, or even an entrepreneur. Really, you could learn so much more stuff from just doing this than being a golfer, basically.
And that's the key. The focus there is to create better versions of people, not necessarily better golfers. Because we know, and it's not that we don't want to create better golfers, but we know if we create better versions of people, as I say, that will flow into a better golfer.
So my main question now is then, going forward, how do you see Enahgy Golf evolving in the next sort of year or two?
For us, it's I think within business or within anything, it's sort of what we've got a bit of an infinite sort of mindset around it. And we get asked this question a lot in terms of, are you a management company, or what's the end goal for your players? Is it to sign them over to them? And it's not really. All we want to sort of do ultimately is try to, we always say we've got no ego attached to obviously what we do, but it doesn't matter if we stop now with the amount of golfers in there. If they show up, we'll be willing to help them. And if it grows, great. We know that probably 90% of the people out there are doing as much as they can. And it's like, let's say the 10%, if they're looking for a bit of help, looking how to sort of develop themselves in terms of improving their game, their mindset and everything they're doing, then, they're the ones that we sort of want to find, I think we sort of said earlier, but, the one thing for us is just staying consistent, doing them small things over a long period of time. And if we keep showing up, doing them bits, if more golfers turn up, then great. I don't know if you'd like to add to that.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Jamie and I both have had for our screensavers for the last, since we first got together really, and Jamie had it before that as well, had on that screensaver an image of basically a major winner with the face covered up, us two in the background with our other partner as well. Again, that is essentially obviously the end goal. You want to put your vision in place and take the steps towards it. But ultimately, we just want to be a part of people's journeys. We want to be a part of people's journeys and have a positive impact on those journeys. Whether that's someone that just wants to improve their game to get them to the point where maybe they can get a European Tour card, or if that is that individual that really wants to push on and win the majors and become the best golfer in the world. We just want to be a part of as many journeys as we possibly can in helping golfers reach their highest potential, essentially. So that's the key. Yeah.
Hallam just articulates himself so much better than me, and I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that's the point. No one's a finished article, right? And I turn up every day, and even just to sort of for Hallam's accountability, what he does and what I can learn from him and everything he does. I learn from that. And does it make me a better person? Yeah, I'd like to think it does. And that's ultimately the goal really. And he's just summed it up there perfectly, in my opinion.
One thing I'll add to that as well is just that understanding and educating golfers on how to become more fulfilled in that journey as well. Yep. Because I think so many are focused on their results, and they lose that ability to feel that fulfillment in their career and that enjoyment still as the time goes on. And it's something that Tony Robbins and in our our morning Zoom calls we've been doing this week, we watched the video where he discussed it. And he said to achieve fulfillment, you need to be growing and you need to be giving. And I think that's the mentality we're trying to educate all our golfers on, is they're the two priorities. You need to be growing yourself, but then also giving back to others as well, because that's what helps you grow even more. And that's what we're really trying to entrench in everyone we work with. So just wanted to add that in as well.
Yeah, no, great stuff. Well, guys, I think overall, like I said before, I think the app is fantastic. You guys are doing a great job in like you said, in getting everyone together, along with that strapline of together everyone will achieve and make themselves better people. And yeah, I can't see why the app won't be successful personally. And the sky's the limit on what you guys can provide for the players. Obviously, be it more not sponsorship opportunities, sorry, I mean more financial opportunities with all your partners that you're getting on board. And again, I sat in on the Michael Campbell question Q&A last week, and well, how much did I learn from that? Quite a bit. And if again, I'll go back to saying to me as an amateur, if I can learn from it, imagine what someone who is on the cusp of making it on tour can learn from it as well.
100%, and that's the key. There is just giving every single one of our players access to the greatest minds in golf that we possibly can. And obviously, we're still on that journey. We're a year in, and we're always trying to sort of reach out to higher levels of guests to bring more value to our players. And we say to everyone inside the app, we say, look, we're open to requests. If you've been learning from someone, reading someone's book, watching someone's video, and you want them on for a live Q&A through the Enahgy app, we're more than happy to reach out. And we'll go above and beyond and do as much as we can to get that person on. But as you say, Michael Campbell is an incredible one, and it's massive from our perspective just to be able to get guys like that on. So
100%.
We always say we're so grateful for everyone that does come on, and we feel this situation, and we're obviously very aware that and very conscious of the fact it's been a tough time for so many people, but I genuinely feel that the Enahgy community is in some way benefited from it, because we've had access to so many more people and been able to bring more opportunities to the players. So we're grateful for that and all the guests that come on.
I think it's also it's like anything. You come into any industry, no matter what it is, you're not expected to know everything, right? So and we don't expect for the people that we're bringing on for everyone, or for them to sort of necessarily be right, and for people to almost like take as matter of fact of what these people are saying. But ultimately, you want someone to be almost a sponge, don't you? To sort of like take away what's relevant to them, and then sort of almost wring out what's sort of kind of not, or sort of not absorb, what's not like, what's not right. Because as I said, we've mentioned it numerous times, you can learn from anyone. Yep. And if it's sort of like these sort of caliber of people, what can you not learn from a major winner? If you're 100%. Not a major winner, what would you want to learn? And I always sort of like speak about, so many golfers, I look at them and think, what is it you're actually doing to achieve your goal, sort of thing? Not every sort of golfer, but and we said this after the call with Michael Campbell, and I think he said ultimately, what's your least minimum requirements of what you're doing? But everyone's sort of seen that Tiger Woods schedule of what he went through on a daily basis. So if you want to be as good as Tiger Woods or try and achieve your most potential, should that not be the minimum requirement that you should do? Now, don't get me wrong, some people say, but that's what's hurt his back. I wouldn't agree with that. But okay, take away all the stuff that, could potentially ruin your back, but replace it with something that's relevant for you. It should be sort of like, and I think that's the whole point of what we're doing, is trying to sort of, not everyone knows everything, but if we can bring people on, that are relevant to the industry, and you can just take them little snippets. I know some of the players have got books already of the amount of information they've collated. And is it them small margins that will help them, in time to sort of come?
No,
that's
definitely.
the mentality, mindset that we want.
It's that whole mentality of success leaves clues, right? You bring the people on that have already been there, and you don't need to reinvent the wheel if you want to get to the same position as them. No. A lot of the time, it is making sure that it's relevant to you, because you don't just want to pick and place the information. Basically, you want to make sure that you understand their concept, maybe, or their fundamental, and then you apply it to the context of your own life as well. And one example from that Michael Campbell video, I think. One of the questions, or one of the things he came back with, was when he was most successful, he was always playing a game within a game. And then we had Lynn Marriott and Pierre Nilsson on from Vision for 54 on Friday, and they said the same thing. They said, focus on playing a game within a game. And one of the lads came off the back of that, and he said, I've heard that twice now within the space of 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
And then he looked back at a Clutch Pro Tour interview he had when he played well recently. I think he came second. And he said that whilst he was playing that event, he was playing a game within a game.
And he's gone back
on. It's just, again, it's those constant almost reminders and just access to the information on understanding, maybe that is what I was doing when I was playing my best game. And Michael Campbell said it, Vision 54 have said it, because that's what I do essentially, is I'm just picking information from all over the place and I just connect the dots. I say, he said it, she said it, they've said it, there's something there now. And what's the fundamental belief aligned with all of the information they're giving? And that's what I want the golfers to do themselves, is take information from Michael Campbell, take information from Lynn and Pia, take information from, we've got an Olympian coming on this week, all the stuff they say, and say, is there a common, almost like value or belief that they've all portrayed? And if they can identify what that is, apply it to your life in your own way, and that's what's going to propel you forward. So that's the purpose of
great stuff.
And I think if you do go look over all them guests, and sorry just to jump in there, but you can, and I think Hallam's world class at sort of like, say, connecting them dots, but there is common traits amongst all these people, and it should be, again, it should, like, if Hallam highlights them, I'm not saying to sort of implement them, there might be something that you're already doing, but there is, as I say, there's no mistake about it. These guys are doing these very similar things, maybe just interpreted in their own way, and that doesn't mean like necessarily these people have to just copy what they do, but interpret it in their own way, because you will find that there is a lot of relevance in sort of what these other people are doing and probably what you're doing, and you're just not highlighted to you enough where you can stay consistent with it. Oh, that hasn't really sort of worked, or that didn't really work for me. I'll leave that now. And we always say, stay consistent doing the small things over a long period of time. It's them marginal gains that will sort of also build up.
It takes back to a phrase I heard, it's actually from a movie, but it says the smallest things, there's nothing bigger. And it's I think you make sure all the little things are working in the right place, and the bigger picture will start to form. And your whole philosophy is based around that, which is really good.
Yeah.
So guys, look, let's leave the podcast there. I think it's been really good, really insightful into what you guys can actually offer to any golfer. Obviously, I started the podcast saying it wasn't aimed towards a golfer like myself, but obviously you've converted me to believe that it is. And I've seen the proof in the pudding. Like I said, I was on that call with Michael Campbell, and look, if I can get on more calls like that and learn more things, then there's no reason why I can't, or anyone like myself, get down to that level and make themselves better people.
Well, that's the good thing about the app, right? We make sure that we record every one of them videos. And I said, like, what Hallam, I think, is unbelievable at doing is almost connecting them dots, breaking it down into sort of little bites, sort of size clips, and sort of, associating with the golfers. So, that's the great thing about the app. It's all there for you.
Yep.
And we've just launched something now called Enahgy TV, where it has sort of certain sections, where we can pull every single guest that comes on and put them into sort of like little boxes in terms of, look, here's this person saying this, here's this person saying that.
Yep.
Hallam elaborate on that more. But, I just think that's one of the, the key. It's almost like a diary, right? Or a journal to some extent.
Well, I was going to give Hallam the last few final words to finish off the podcast. So you spoke enough, Jamie, so we'll give it back to Hallam.
Sorry.
No, on the Enahgy TV, and that's a great point from Jamie, because it's literally a feature we launched. We launched literally this weekend, just gone, and it was off of feedback from the players. So as we say, we've got no ego attached to what we're doing. We're always open to feedback from the players and what's going to bring them more value. So we launched this Enahgy TV, where we've essentially split it up into improve your mindset, create physical longevity, improve your golf game, and then there's the section in there. It's gone from my head now. It's going to be lost, but there's another section in there for one of the key components.
Yep.
Inside improve your mindset. What we've done then is split it up into self-awareness, overcome adversity, and different sections in there basically. So you go in and you can improve your self-awareness just by watching 5-minute maximum clips from all of our guests. So explaining all that key information.
Keys to success, Hallam.
Keys to success, that's the one. but basically you can go in there and instead of watching the full live Q&A with Michael Campbell, you could say to yourself, Lloyd, right, I actually want to improve my performance under pressure.
Yep.
So instead of trying to find all the best videos for that, you can actually go straight into the Enahgy TV section. You can go into the Improve My Mindset, look at performing under pressure, and we've got about 8 to 10 small clips, 5-minute clips, explaining from different guests how to improve your performance under pressure. And that content is constantly growing. We're adding to that all the time. So keep an eye out for all the new stuff in there. And soon that will be literally the library that we want every single player to go to improve their mindset, create physical longevity, learn the keys to success, and also improve their golf game. So
definitely, and what a library that will be. So
Yeah.
no, well done, guys. Look, congratulations on where you've got to so far. Only just been a year into it. You've got a few years left in you, both of you. So I'm pretty sure it's going to go quite far. And thanks for coming on the podcast and giving us an introduction into Enahgy Golf.
No, thank you very much for having us.
Thanks for having us, Lloyd. Appreciate
No worries,
it.
boys. Thank you very much.
Cheers.
Now, as you can see, Hallam and Jamie are very passionate about helping people achieve their best ability. And like I said, I use this app for a month now, and I think it's amazing. I've sat on 2 of the Q&As with top professional people, Michael Campbell being one of them. And I mean, if you can't learn anything from this platform at all as a golfer, then I really don't know what can help you. But I love the community side of things. Every day waking up to the messages from people, learn more about myself and make myself a better person. So guys, head over to Enahgy Golf and make sure you download the app and get going. Now, you've made it to the end of this podcast. Well done. And you would be delighted to know that you can actually get 1 month free subscription exclusively to the app if you download it. Then send an email to info@enahgy.com. Use my name, OnePodLife, in the subject, and they'll send you back a code to get 1 month free. So guys, thanks for listening. I hope you really enjoyed that one, and I really hope the app can help you become a better golfer and a better person. Cheers.